ละครับณขณะนี้เวลาเดินนะครับ4นาทีที่เหลือสำหรับในเรื่องของการไลฟ์สตรีมมิ่งนะครับเดี๋ยวต่อไปครับจะมีในเรื่องของคอมเมนเตอร์นะครับเป็นฝรั่งหล่อๆนะครับเพื่อที่จะให้บรรยากาศของ F4 ในการแข่งขันเรสที่3สนุกกันต่อไปนะครับฉะนั้นตอนนี้ขออนุญาตเป็นเรื่องของภาษาอังกฤษล้วนๆแล้วกันนะครับโอเคแล้วเดี๋ยวภาษาไทยมาเจอกันในช่วงของการพิทวอล์กแล้วกันครับ
and they're completing their sighting lap. They'll come around and stop in their grid positions and then do one more lap before the start of the race. So let's continue down the starting grid now. In fourth position, driving for Thailand in the blue number 77 car, we have Tar. And in fifth position, the Malaysian Alistair Young, who had a great race last time out, finishing fifth and holding strong against Shihab Al-Habsi just ahead of him, and Elias Panin in third position. Just a little bit further down the grid, we got number 6, or sixth position I should say, number 34, Shihab Al-Habsi in the red car, driving for Oman this weekend, and Elias Panin in 7th, driving the red number 58. A lot of red cars this weekend, good to see because those are the Meritus colors. In position 8, we have Muiz Mushafa driving for Malaysia, finishing 2nd in the last race. And then Josh Smith and Luke Allen rounding out the top of the grid. Unfortunately, Luca didn't finish the race and didn't finish enough laps to be qualified as a finisher, so he's relegated to the final position on the starting grid. That's unfortunate for Ireland, but Luke Allen loves to challenge and we love to see the racing it completes. So let's have a quick look down to the starting grid now. You can see everybody's in position. Just for your information, this is not the start of the race, this is just the formation lap. The cars will go around one more time just to finish warming up all their tires and doing all their pre-car checks and the like before the start of the race. Next time around they'll come back, stop in exactly the same positions, and then on the left of your screens you'll see a green flag being waved, and then the red lights will come out, and as they extinguish we'll be underway. But for now we're still on the formation lap, and you can see all the cars that have left the grid without any issues. Coming around time 1 now, led around by Yash already. I'm sure Yash is very excited to be in pole position. He had a good start to the last race, actually making his way up into first if I'm not mistaken. But then a collision between him, Luke Allen, and perhaps Ali Akabi at turn 5 caused Luca to drop out and pushed Yash further down the order than he would like to be. Let's have a quick run through the starting grid once again now, as you can see it scrolling across the page. In pole we have Yash just in front of Sneha Sharma and Ali Akabi. Second row in the grid is completed by Tar in the blue number 77, just ahead of Alistair Young and Shihab Al-Habsi, rounding out the top 5. Where Elias Panin, Muiz Mushafa, Josh Smith and Luke Allen complete the grid. You can see the cars coming around turn 5 and into turn 6 now, with the orange car driven by our favorite Indian driver Yash Aradia in number 17, leading us through the entire back half of the circuit. Just a few more corners to go to warm up his tires, prepare himself mentally and physically for the start of the race. If I'm not mistaken, this will be Yash's first time in pole position. It'll be very interesting to see what he can deliver this weekend, and if he can do India proud, perhaps looking to maybe hold off his first position, or if possible maybe he'll finish in third position. Maybe he's going to have a lot of challenge from the likes of Shihab Al-Habsi and Elias Panin, who are not that far behind him and are known to be fantastic starters, working their way up the grid as quickly as they can. So all the best luck to Yash. The start of the race in just a few moments. And just behind him, Sneha Sharma as well. Well, it looks like a red car, which must be Ali Akabi there, ready to go, waiting to be released by the marshals and the red lights. Just a few moments, but at the moment the grid is controlled by Yash Ardia, who's not letting them go anywhere until he's ready. You can see everybody climbing into position now. Yash in the orange, number 17 on the right of your screens. Sneha in the purple, number 9 on the left. That's an Indian front row for you, ladies and gentlemen. Team India 1-2 at the moment. You can see on the left of your screens there, that's the yellow flag being waved. That marshal will in a moment change to a green flag, indicating that everybody is in their position. Once he does so, the red lights will all go on, and as the extinguish will be underway once again for the 15th race of the season, the 3rd race this weekend. We have one more race at 12 o'clock, so be sure to turn back in then. But you can see the green flag is being waved now, and just in a moment the red lights will come on. Everybody's revving high. Here we go, the red lights are out, and we're underway. Here we go, Yash is already coming down the straight. Good start from him, strong start from him. Sneha has a bit of a problem though. She's dropped back to the grid. She may have stalled. I can't tell what happened. As we come around now with Josh Smith moving up into, looks like 8th position, just in front of Luca, and at the back of the grid, that would be, it must be actually Josh, it must be Elias that Luca is just behind. So here we go back to the front now. We've got Yash Ardia leading us through. red number 64 there on the right-hand side of your screen. A little bit too far back to make anything happen with this corner, but Alice Young doing a great start up into third position, just ahead of what must be Elias Sapanen in that fourth position. Good to see everybody getting away strong. We got some clean racing here as we go 3 wide for a brief moment on the exit of turn 3 with Luke Allen, Josh Smith, and an orange car, which must be Muiz Mushafa. Side by side with Shihab Al Habsi and Alice Young, though, back towards the front of the grid, and side by side again with Luca and Josh coming through turn 4 up into turn 5. Coming across the commentary window now. Great to watch it out the window instead of on the screen. Beautiful to be here this weekend in the Buriram United International Circuit. Great experience. I can see the yellow flag still being waved to indicate that Sneha is still on track, but she's recovered now into the, as you can see on screens, just in front of the pit exit, so we should be able to continue going. Perhaps the yellow flags will stop waving by the time we get to turn 12. We're at turn 9 at the moment, so that's 3 more laps. Yep, I can see the yellow flag's been brought in, so Sneha has been recovered. No issues there. We continue racing, and it shouldn't even affect any of the action on track as we come down now into turn 12 with Yash Ardia in the orange number 17 car at the front of your screens. Breaking into turn 12 now. Everybody's climbing up. Ali Akabi still defending his second position, just ahead of Shihab Al Habsi, Alsa Young, Elias Sapanen, Josh Smith, Luke Allen, Muiz Mushafa, and Tar. Bringing up the rear in the blue number 77. Tar doing great this weekend, really catching up to everybody a little bit. Let's have a look at the sector times, because Luke Allen just the fastest first sector, Shihab just the fastest second sector, and Luca again fastest in the third sector. So Luca already up into 7th position. He's going to have to work his way up to the front of the grid to regain his composure this weekend after a DNF in the second race. Side by side now with what must be Elias Sapanen and Shihab Al Habsi. Alistair Young looking to try and make a move as well. He's going to cut up the inside of Elias Sapanen. Fantastic driving there from the Malaysian to gain third position as we come around turn 3 with Luke Allen maybe losing a position to Josh Smith as well in the same corner. Coming down the back straight now, coming up into turn 4, which is a hard left-hander, but it's flat in these cars. We've seen overtaking here before. I think number 58 just behind Ali Akabi is going to try and make a move. Not quite. Oh no, sorry, that must be 34. That's Shihab Al Habsi. Shihab Al Habsi is in second position. Alice Young just behind him, and Ali Akabi just behind them. And then we have Elias Sapanen in 5th. Fantastic racing from all around. As we come through turn 6, 7 now. There's Elias on screen in the red number 58. Braking hard into the right-handed turn 8. Down, they all go wide here usually, and they do as well here. 64 a little bit wide. That's Ali Akabi a little bit squirrely on the braking. So was Muiz Mushafa in the orange car just behind him. But back to the front now. Yash Adia driving beautifully so far to defend his first position with Ali Akabi, I believe, still behind him. Where he was at the front, he was at the start of this lap, but now Shihab Al Habsi is up into second position. Ali Akabi into 4th, because Malaysia's Alice Young is in 3rd. As we cross the start-finish straight, there you go. There's the updated times. Ali Akabi in 4th, Alice Young in 3rd, Shihab Al Habsi in 2nd, and Yash Adia in 1st. But Shihab is all over the back of that orange car at the front of the pack, and soon enough we're going to see some more action, and hopefully Yash can hold him off. But Shihab has a little bit more experience in these F4 cars than his Indian rival. But Yash doesn't let that phase him, because he's pushed Shihab off onto the grass. Shihab's going to try and go over the inside, but Yash can cut back, maybe get a better exit and regain position coming on the straight into turn 4. But now he has to defend with Alistair Young in the pink car on his left, now on his right. Alistair Young along the outside of number 17, Yash Adia, but decides to duck back inside for turn 4. We can see further down the order, Luke Allen still being held off at the back. Not sure what's happening to him. He's fighting with Josh Smith for position. Ali Akabi doing well though, maintaining his 4th, keeping Elias Sapanen just behind him. As we come into turn 5 now, Alistair Young up the inside of Yash Ardia. Beautiful driving there from the Malaysian. Now he's got Ali Akabi, and Elias Sapanen seems to be going around the inside of Ali Akabi at turn 6. Great driving there from the Finnish driver. As we see the possession move now through turn 7 and 8. With a brief glimpse of what's going on in the F4 pit lane, and hopefully we'll be back with more action very soon at the end of the day as well for race 4, as Luke Allen tries to make a move on Josh Smith, not managing to make it stick. Josh and Luke a little bit held up behind Elias Sapanen and Ali Akabi. Can't manage to find a way past the drivers. Let's have a look now. Ali still defending now from Josh Smith, so Elias Sapanen has managed to find a way past him as we go through turn 12 now with Yash Ardia into 3rd position just behind Alistair Young. and Shihab Al-Habsi in first, and just behind them we've got Elias Sapanen in fourth at the moment, and then Josh Smith, Ali Akabi, Luke Allen, Muiz Mujaffer, Tar and Sneha. We come around turn one now with beautiful number 17, the orange car just on your screens. Just behind him we've got Elias Sapanen, so Yash has a lot on his plate, and with 14 minutes to go, that's about 7 laps. He's going to have to defend hard if he wants to maintain that third position. Hopefully for him, it may be possible that Josh Smith might catch up to Elias and really take away some of his concentration as Luke Allen tries to go up the inside of Ali Akabi, and Muiz Mujaffer is going to try and follow suit on the outside of turn 4 now in just a moment. That's a little bit further down the grid there. You can see the orange car, ladies and gentlemen. That looks like Muiz Mujaffer is going to try and make a move on the outside now. He's just off your screens to the right in a moment. Pay attention there, as at the moment Shihab Al-Habsi is leading the pack and building a bit of a gap for himself. He's got 1 second at the moment, but Alistair Young doing fantastic so far, doing a 1:46.114 last time around, but his best is a 1:45.628. That's identical, ladies and gentlemen, identical to Shihab Al-Habsi's time. Both drivers setting the exact same time, a 1:45.628. That's how fast these cars are. But let's have a look further down the grid. Let's have a look further down the grid, because there's another man into the 145s. That's Elias Sapanen, and then further down again we've got Luke Allen, Muiz Mujaffer and Tar all into the 145s, all very close together indeed, as we come around what must be turn 5 now, if I'm not mistaken, or turn 10 and 11, as we come down the back straight, such as it is, with Yash still in third position, holding off Elias Sapanen, who is more experienced in these Formula 4 cars and in Formula 4 Southeast Asia as well than the Indian driver, but he's unfazed by that situation as Shihab Al-Habsi takes us across the line for the 4th lap of the race, and Ali Akabi tries to block out Muiz Mujaffer and Tar at the same time. Doesn't quite manage to do it though, as Muiz manages to find his way past the Jordanian driver as we come through turn 1 and down into the end of the first sector. The end of the first sector is just before turn 3, and then the next cut-off is just after turn 6, between that and turn 7. As we come into turn 3 now, let's see who sets the fastest first sector. It's Luke Allen by 0.2 of a second, doing a 25.984 to the next fastest, the leader of the race, 26.185. As we come around turn 3, nobody close enough to make anything stick, but we can definitely see Luca closing in on Josh Smith, and both of them closing in on Yash and Elias Sapanen, who now goes up the inside on the straight down into turn 4. Can Yash try and take it back? No, he can't defend because Elias Sapanen has a fantastic line. Josh Smith tries to get past as well, but has to brake at the last second to avoid any collision, as Josh and now Luca are going to come up the inside of Yash through turn 6. Beautiful driving there from both the Irishman and the Australian, who are now 4th or 5th and 6th. As we come through turn 8 down into turn 9, which we haven't actually seen a lot of overtaking here in these Formula 4 cars. It's a little bit too difficult to make that happen. Perhaps if we have a rainy session at the end of the day, we might see some overtaking there, but really in the dry conditions like this, you're just too far back to make anything stick at turn 10 and turn 11. As we come down now at the back straight, this is another overtaking corner. You can brake hard coming into turn 12, so you can take advantage of that. You can see an orange car there just behind Alistair Young, which would mean is Yash Ardia still? No, sorry, that was a red car of Elias Sapanen, and then Josh Smith, then Luke Allen, with Yash crossing the line in 6th. So let's have a look at the gaps between everybody. Shihab Al-Habsi has built a 1.5 second gap to Young. Young is 1.9 seconds ahead of Sapanen. Sapanen almost 3 seconds ahead of Smith, so it's a little bit different this time around. Everybody been held up in traffic, so they're all spaced out quite a bit now. So Shihab has built a nice little lead for himself, but we still have 10 minutes to go, which gives us about 5, maybe 6 laps. So anything could happen here in race 3 this weekend, or race 15 overall in the Formula 4 Southeast Asia Championship, as Muiz Mujaffer in the orange number 13 overtakes around the outside at turn 13, snatching up position from the number 17 car, which is Yash Ardia driving from India. That's Malaysia getting past India at turn 13 here in Thailand. Fantastic racing to see, as you can spot now the gap from Shihab Al-Habsi to Alistair Young. Let's have a look at their lap times. Shihab setting the fastest lap last time around with a 1:44.895. About 0.4 faster than Alistair Young last time around. Alistair's best time at the moment is 1:45.267, so they're all going as fast as they can. They're still setting their fastest laps, so the tyres haven't started to degrade yet. So we will see more action in the coming segments of the race. Elias Sapanen now 0.4 behind Alistair Young, and setting some very quick lap times, about 10th off the leader, about 0.2 faster than the Young. So if he continues, next lap he's going to be right up in striking distance from the Malaysian. You can see as well the Australian car, the number 5 car of Josh Smith, just in 4th position, just behind our top 3. You can see he's definitely closing in as well. Josh doing a 1:45.507 last time around, which is a little bit slower than we expect from him. Perhaps held up in traffic or something like that. As Luke Allen as well doing a similar time, 2/10 faster though. And as they cross the start finish train, he must have heard us talking about us, because that's Josh Smith, ladies and gentlemen, sets the fastest lap of the race so far, 1:44.709. As Alistair Young sets his personal best, going a 10th faster, but not fast enough to break into the 1:44s. That's okay though, because Shihab Al-Habsi has slowed down slightly this time around, going almost a 10th slower, so that in effect Alistair is slowly gaining on the leader. Good news for Malaysia, as Elias Apanan is just behind their favourite son in the red number 58 car on your screens in just a moment, and he's closing in on Malaysia's Alistair Young. So we're going to see some fantastic action and hopefully a fight for the finish towards the end of the race. As you can see, all 5 cars there, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. We've got Shihab Al-Habsi, Alistair Young, Elias Apanan, Josh Smith and Luke Allen all fighting for position here and the event championship as well. Coming around turn 4, nobody's close enough to make a move, but up into the final corner we may see some positions change under the heavy braking of the 90 degree, or maybe it's even more than that. It's really more like 120 degrees right-hander coming up down into the back straight and across the commentator's window. It's just fantastic to watch, ladies and gentlemen. As we can see, we've got another 8 minutes to go on the countdown, which means another 4 laps or so after this. Josh Smith on your screens there at the moment. Top speed is 251, which can't possibly be right. But his best lap time is a 1:44.823, so he's 1/10 off the fastest man on track at the moment, or not even that, more like 800ths of a second. That's Luke Allen doing a 1:44.823, coming around 2.9 seconds off the man in front of him. But the man at the that can't be right. That's not a 2-second gap. That must be a 2-second gap to the leader. So as we come across the start finish straight, let's have a run down the order once again. Shihab still on top, setting a 1:45.23323. He slowed down a little bit because Alistair Young doing a 1:45 dead. So that gap between Alistair and Shihab is slowly coming away. As number 3, that's Luke Allen, gets a track limit warning. Elias Apanan then, what did he do? 1:55 dead, so he's matching Alistair Young's time, so that's not good for him. He needs to speed up if he's going to catch the Malaysian, because now Josh Smith is just behind him, and this must be why Elias Apanan has gone slightly slower that lap, because Josh Smith right behind him, really giving him some trouble into turn 3, but Elias has the better line and manages to hold him off. And that's lost some speed there. You can see the momentum that Josh carried through isn't quite as much as Elias Apanan in the red number 58. That's the 3rd car on your screens. It's definitely closed the door on Josh, so to say, at that time. But Josh is not going to be Josh is not going to be deterred by that, as Alistair Young does a huge lock up, and I think a car behind him, maybe the blue car of Luke Allen, does the same thing as well, coming into the left-handed turn 5 and turn 6 sector of the track. Now into the final sector, sector 3. Let's have a look at the sector times. We've got 26.186, 26.175, 26.211, 25.951, 25.964. So everybody is very close together as Josh Smith tries to move up the inside of Elias Apanan at turn 9. This is what I've been waiting to see all weekend. Now around the outside at turn 10. Is he going to close the deal through turn 11? Looks like he's got the better line and he's got more momentum, and he does exactly that. And now Luke Allen's all over the back of the young Finnish driver, trying to make a move up to turn 12. He might try and leapfrog around the inside of both of them. Does he go for it? No, he doesn't. He doesn't quite have the space to do so. But Australia's favourite son, Josh Smith, now up into 3rd position. And Luke Allen really challenging Elias Apanan. He's got the slipstream. He's coming up beside him. They're already side by side going into turn 1. Luke is going to go around the outside. He's going to switch back to the inside now to try and get position coming down the right hand. I mean, I'm not sure what straight you build. It's the 2nd straight of the track, coming down through turn 2 and into turn 3. Turn 2, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's just that little rumble strip there. You can see side by side with Luke Allen and Elias Apanan. Elias Apanan forces Luca onto the grass, but Luca's got the inside line on the corner 3 where he wants to be. He's going to now go wide and push Elias Apanan out onto the grass and get some payback. But Elias Apanan a little bit, yeah, you can see that's exactly what he said. Thank you for doing that for me at turn 2. Now you can have a taste of your own medicine at turn 3. That's what Luke Allen says. As he come around the straight down into turn 4. Now Elias Apanan, this is a switchback circuit if ever I've seen one, ladies and gentlemen. Luke had the advantage at turn 3. Now Elias Apanan back in through turn 4. Beautiful driving from the Finn there. Down into turn 5 as it looks like the car just behind, that must be Muiz Mashapra in the orange number 13, tries to make a move on Luke Allen as well. Of course, Luca, this race wearing an orange jacket, as you can see, a little bit of damage to his engine cover in the last race, and they didn't have time to respray anything, so an orange cover went on, but that's not a problem for Luca Allen as he comes around turn 8 now. He's going to go a little bit wide there. Muiz a little bit tighter through that corner. A little bit better exit. That's why he's so close up in behind him now at turn 9. Fantastic move here a minute ago with Josh Smith and Elias Sapanen, but not this time, as now Luca has to worry about Muiz Mshaffer, who's driving beautifully this weekend, second last race, now pushing for position, trying to get into the top 5, battling with Luca Allen, who's also driving excellently. Let's have a look at the lap times as they come across the start-finish straight. Number 64 gets a warning, a third warning for track limit excursion. Let's have a look at the times as we cross. Shihab Al-Habsi still in the lead, of course, doing a 1:45.201. Alistair Young sets his personal best, the 1:44.728, breaking into the 1:44s, and now definitely closing on the man in front of him. Josh Smith sets the fastest lap of the race, the 1:44.675, just ahead of Elias Sapanen and Luca Allen, who are a little bit waylaid by the fast-charging Muiz Mshaffer just behind him, who sets a 1:45.607 last time around. Here we go. You can see Muiz now up in the action with Elias Sapanen and number 3 car, the blue number 3 car of Luke Allen. Of course, our Thai fans might be mistaking this blue number 3 car for our vice champion, Thai national Kane Shepherd last year. Fortunately, this year Kane Shepherd focusing on his exams, but we think he'll be back to racing soon. We hope he will, because he's a fantastic driver, and he's got to reclaim his number 3 car in the coming years. As we look briefly back to the action now at the front of the grid, Alistair Young, as we've said before, driving excellently this session, holding on to his second position just in front of Josh Smith, who is driving beautifully, setting the fastest lap of the race, but only 1/10 faster than Alistair Young. So Alistair really pushing himself to the limit in this, the 15th race of the season, as they both go very wide indeed on the exit of turn 8. Is Josh close enough to try and make something happen here at turn 10, like we saw him do with Elias Sapanen a few laps ago? Not quite, but with 2 minutes on the board, he's still got another 1 lap, maybe 2 laps to try and make something happen. He may be able to do that here as well, coming into turn 12. This is a fantastic angle on this drone shot. Let's see if Josh can make anything happen, and he's going to come. He's got a better exit. See how close he is up behind him. Now let's look at the lap times. Josh Smith in the last sector, he did a 1:44.283, which is actually slightly slower than Alistair Young, but nonetheless, he gets up the inside at turn 1, says thank you very much, and slips past the Malaysian driver. As Alistair Young, no, he's not going to just take that. He's going to get the better line in turn 2, going to try and push Josh out onto the grass, perhaps like we've seen some of the other drivers do. Down into turn 3, he's going to have a very nice line coming into turn 3, and he's an experienced driver here at this track, so he's going to switch back at turn 3, where's he going to go around the outside? Looks like he's going to go around the outside as Muiz Mshaffer now giving Luke Allen hell. He's look at this. Elias Sapanen now walking away from Luca Allen because Muiz Mshaffer is driving fantastically this race. He's all over the back of the Irishman, and he's going to try and take that position very soon, as it looks like we're going to have a side-by-side here with Alistair Young, who lost position to Josh Smith. Obviously didn't manage to cut back at turn 3, trying to take it back at turn 4 now. Not quite close enough though, as it looks like there was a little lock up there with Shihab Al-Habsi. We saw these two cars, the red and the pink, dive through some smoke a moment ago as they come through turn 8 now, or turn 7 I should say. Turn 8's the next one, where they all like to run a little bit wide. That might be an opportunity for Alistair to try and slip past up the inside. No, not quite, and they didn't actually run wide there at all. Beautiful exit from both drivers. So they come into turn 9 now. I don't know what to say, ladies and gentlemen. I'm lost for words to learn that turn 9 and 10 and 11 are overtaking corners here in these slick cylinder cars, as unfortunately number 3 and number 22, that's Luke Allen and Alistair Young, get their third warning and are 10. He's got 30 seconds left to go on the board. He's got a 1.5 second lead. Unless he gets the commentator's curse, he's winning this race, as Alistair Young is the one man now challenging for second position. And we've got Luke Allen and Muiz Mshaffer and Elias Sapanen challenging for third position. So, for fourth position. So here we go through turn 3. Let's see what happens with these drivers. You can see the gap is significant now between Shihab Al-Habsi and Josh Smith. Alistair seems to slide a little bit there coming into the exit. Perhaps his tires getting a little bit worn. Perhaps that's why as well he's slowing down slightly, and how Josh managed to get past him, or maybe it's just that Josh is a fantastic driver and he's having a great weekend, especially considering he only showed up here at 6 a.m. Yesterday morning. So great to see an Aussie up there really proving what he's got, and the level of competition in the championship. As we can see, just further behind, the red car of Elias Sapanen is now in trouble as Luke Allen has caught back up and is trying to make a move up the inside in the second half of the circuit. Very difficult to do so here in these tight corners, but you can see how close Luke is, and he's really right up behind Elias Sapanen. He's going to go as hard as he can, trying to get past the fin. But Elias is used to having a blue number 3 car in his mirrors at this stage, as both cars twitch a little bit. And Muiz Mushafa goes around the outside of Luke Allen at turn 9. Can he hold it off through turn 10? No, Luca pushes him out of the track. Muiz rejoining, coming over the rumble strip, losing all of his time. That was beautiful driving from Muiz. He saw both drivers make the mistake. He went around the outside, but Luca just said, nope, sorry, not this time. As Shihab Al-Habsi now takes it across the start-finish straight, followed closely by Josh Smith and Alistair Young, before Elias Sapanen finishes 4th, just ahead of Luke Allen and Muiz Mushafa, who, despite driving beautifully and doing Malaysia proud, only managed to secure a 6th position because the competition this weekend is just unbelievable. Let's have a look at the times, the best times. Look at this: 144.895, 144.675, 144.758, 144.991, 144.823, 144.773. That's the top 6 drivers within about 1/10 of a second of each other on their best lap. That's ridiculous. But unfortunately, he's not a rookie because he's already completed in the Young took advantage as well to jump past the orange car into 2nd position. Yash now defends from Elias for several laps, but just can't keep the fin behind him. And unfortunately, Josh Smith manages to get past him as well, and then find his way up into 3rd and then 2nd position later on in the race. But this is the shot that I like the most. That drone shot is really beautiful to watch, and I hope you see it more this season, and hopefully more this weekend as well, as we come through turn 3 now once again with Josh. Now, so there's the lockup that we were worried about might ruin Alistair Young's day. It may have pushed him back into 3rd position, but he managed to hold on to that, so that's good for him. And you can see Elias Sapanen there trying to challenge Josh Smith, but the Australian just driving flawlessly in this race. And Luke Allen was all over the back of Elias, and Muiz Mushafa all over the back of Allen, but all drivers drove without fault and managed to finish the race in the positions that they secured early on. So we come across now with this must be what happened with Josh Smith and Alistair Young. Alistair going very wide on the outside of turn 1, forced to give that position up because if he took the track advantage, he would have been penalised. Smart driving there from the Malaysian. He tried to take it back at turn 3 but couldn't quite do it. And this is the last lap now, ladies and gentlemen, where Muiz Mushafa tried along the outside at turn 9. He almost pulled it off. He would have pulled it off, but he just didn't have the space and went wide. You can see here now that Shihab Al-Habsi jumping out of his car. That's one happy Omani driver as he leaps atop his red machine just ahead of Josh Smith and Alistair Young. Fantastic driving from all. If you stay tuned for just a moment, we'll have the race results coming up on screen. But before we do that, let's have a look further down. There's Josh Smith from Australia, shaking hands with his engineer, Gabby. Gabby, of course, joining us this weekend once again. As always, as we move down the pack now to Tar. There's his blue number 77 Tar. Of course, not happy that he's not up further in the order, but nonetheless, the Thai driver secured the 3rd rookie positions. That's good. That's good for him. That's exactly where he should be aiming for. Now he just needs to keep going consistently every lap, banging it in, get into the 144s and challenge the men at the front of the grid with a little bit more experience. But let's have a run through the final orders. Now the final classification. In first position, we have the red number 34 of Shiab Al-Habsi, completing the race in 12 laps, just ahead of Josh Smith, Alistair Young, Elias Sapanin, Luca Allen, Muiz Mushafa, Yash Aradia, Alia Kabi, Ananton, excuse me, I really can't try the last name. We just call him Ty, and he drives the blue number 77, just ahead of Sneha Sharma. So it was a fantastic race once again, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back on air in 2 hours' time at 12:30, if I'm not mistaken, for the final race of the weekend, race 16 so far. So for me, Aaron Thompson, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.